Hello, everybody, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory podcast here in the month of January with Tad and Will. We're here to bring you hot January content of football. We got two teams here that took a matchup against each other in Week 18. Two AFC North rivals, the Baltimore Ravens taking on their division rivals, the Cleveland Browns. These two franchises are in two completely different states right now. You got one franchise, the Cleveland Browns, who, quite frankly, living up to the majority of their franchise history. They have another season like most of their franchise history's seasons. We'll get into that. And then you got the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, we don't even have to talk a whole lot about the stat lines and stuff like that. I mean, it is what it was. I mean, the Ravens went out there and just were the Ravens. Obviously, you had, a little bit to play for, trying to win the division and everything. So that is why you played your starters and everything. So, yeah. So shout out to the Baltimore Ravens there. Lamar Jackson, 16 of 32, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that's great. Derrick Henry, 20 carries, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's awesome. Great. So, yeah, Ravens roll. They're going to the playoffs. The Cleveland Browns. Tad, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns because this is the last time we're going to be talking about them on the show for the season. Yeah, 3-14. Just, I mean, this was a team that had a winning record last year, and then they do this once again, and it's just, I would say more than anything, this boiled down to poor management and poor coaching.
Yeah, there's some poor management, some poor coaching. The roster, it's not built very well. I mean, you have Myles Garrett, and obviously Myles Garrett is great, one of the best defensive players in the league. But outside of Myles Garrett, I mean, there's really not a lot here, unfortunately, for the Browns. I mean, they have a lot of roster issues that they just need to look at. And I mean, they'll have the number 2 pick in the draft, so they'll have an opportunity to get a premium player. What they decide to do with that pick, there's a lot of different ways they could go, but just there's a lot more questions than answers. I mean, you don't know what's going on in the quarterback room. You still have Deshaun Watson, who's going to be trying to work his way back from another injury and going to try to work through his inconsistency. They don't know. There's no plan here. I don't see a plan here when I look at the Browns roster.
Uh, it's sad because their fans are probably some of the most loyal, loving fans in football. Some of the most dedicated, most loyal fans. Uh, and I mean, like, none of this is their fault. I mean,
Sure.
like, you have the fan base, you have the support, and now their city just doesn't deserve this.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate to see. I mean, you just want to see a more competent effort. I mean, and we saw what could happen last year. We saw how it could go. I mean, if you have some things break your way, if you put give a guy like Joe Flacco a chance in the quarterback room, you don't need like a superstar. You just need somebody that can walk in there and bring some general competence to the room. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be looked at here. I mean, there's just so many things here that needs to get changed to make Cleveland a competitive football team.
A lot of things that need to get changed, a lot of things that need to get turned around. So, they're going to need to see that sooner than later. And I mean, I would say, Tad, their first mistake was not going with. I mean, your first mistake was signing Deshaun Watson to that massive contract.
Yeah.
And then your second mistake was not playing Jameis Winston probably sooner than you should have. And now you got Bailey Zappi and Dorian Thompson. I mean, this is a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's really no way to paint this in a positive light. I mean, you can try to like spin it however we want, but I mean, the the bottom line is this roster. I mean, it needs a lot of work. It needs, and I think that with the group they have in place, with the ownership, the management, the front office executives, I don't see the work getting done until there's wholesale changes here in Cleveland. I think that's what's necessary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, it's just going to be a matter of whether or not they're going to be able to be competent enough to make said decisions. As far as the draft order goes, I mean, I don't know if you need to go out there and draft a quarterback and just start developing him. I mean, I would probably say that might be your best bet is to draft a quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I mean there'll be guys out there like Shadur Sanders, Cam Ward from Miami. I mean they'll have some options if they want to go that route. And I mean, or they could try to just get a foundational piece, best player available, something like that. If you want to get a guy like Travis Hunter, if he's there, I mean,
Yeah,
there's definite ways they can go.
I just feel like at this point, Tad, whoever does get drafted to the Browns, they're going to be doing that player a disservice.
Yeah,
Like you just feel like no matter who gets drafted to that team, it'll. I don't know what needs to happen for this Cleveland team, but it's bad. It's bad right now. So
I mean, I don't know what'll fix it all, but I know the first thing that needs to happen, wholesale changes in the management team.
yeah, I obviously we've had some coach firings already at the time of this reporting. So I don't know what Cleveland plans to do with their coaching staffs or their changes, but we'll see. As far as the Ravens, yeah, Tad, the Baltimore Ravens, 12-5. We predicted about that. We predicted them to have, this good of a season and everything. So, now going forward, they will be this upcoming Saturday. They will be hosting their division rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in the AFC wildcard playoffs. So a huge game, huge game. I mean, obviously it's a playoff game, but
Yeah.
who else but to be lined up with your division rival?
Yep, the third matchup of the year. Both team won the home game when they played earlier in the season. So it should be exciting. That's one that you'd want to be looking forward to. I mean, these two teams, they aren't shy about it. They don't like each other. It's going to be a lot of animosity. The fans obviously they don't like each other. There's going to just be some hard-nosed football. So what you'd expect when you look for an AFC North matchup.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ravens win 35-10. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Be sure to catch us next season as well to catch more coverage on the Browns. Be sure to catch us in this month as we will bring you Super Wild Card Weekend recaps next week. Thank you for watching.